Hello everyone, today we are doing a rapid comparison between the Boss VB-2W, which is the vibrato, the Waza Craft Edition, and you can see that on the pedal cam, and the other pedal is going to be the TC Electronic Tailspin Vibrato. Now these two pedals are on the opposite side of the price spectrum. Now the Tailspin is an absolutely affordable vibrato pedal, and the Boss is something I would say above an average affordable price. Now right off the bat, there are numerous differences with each pedal. So with the TC Electronic, it is a very simple layout. You have an input, output, the jack to power the pedal, and you got a simple rate and depth knob and your foot switch. Now with the Boss VB-2W, it is packed with way more features. So you have the rate and depth knob, and then you have a rise time knob. So now what the rise time does is it adjusts the time of how long it takes for the vibrato effect to kick in, and I will demonstrate that in a moment. Beside that, you have a mode knob which has unlatch, bypass and latch modes on that, and I'll get into that. And following that, you have the typical switch you have on all Waza pedals, which flicks the pedal between standard and custom mode to give you two different tones from the pedal. So now allow me to quickly explain what each mode on the VB2 does. So this is my bypass signal. My guitar is an Aristides 060 going into the front end of a Hughes and Kettner Tubemeister Deluxe 20, and the pedal is in the effects loop. So now you have one mode which is called unlatch, and the way this mode will work is it will only turn on the pedal for as long as you hold down the foot switch. Let me turn up the rate and depth so you can hear a more obvious difference. So there you go, the pedal turns off once I release the foot switch. So basically the difference between the next two modes, which is bypass and latch, is the pedal operates as usual. When you press it once, it turns on. You press it again, it turns off. But the difference here is on latch mode, your signal still runs through the bucket brigade chips when the pedal is off. And on bypass mode, you will bypass the bucket brigade chips. So first up, what we're going to do here is we're going to listen to the difference in our bypass tone with each of those modes. So the pedal is not going to be turned on. So here is the sound of the guitar going through the pedal in bypass mode. Now I'm going to flick it to the latch mode. Back to bypass. To my ears, it sounds like as if the pedal is turning the buffer on and off. So on the latch mode, I'm hearing much more high end, and on the bypass, it is slightly rolled off. Next, let me show you what the rise time knob does first. So we're going to set it all the way down. We're going to play a chord and kick the pedal on. Now let's do that again with the rise time knob all the way up. So what you're hearing is with the rise time all the way down, the vibrato effect kicks in immediately. Another way to think about it is with the rise time knob, it kind of acts as a pre-delay on the pedal. So for the rest of the demo, since the TC Electronic pedal is true bypass, I'm going to leave the Boss pedal on bypass mode as well, and the rise time is going to be dead center for the entire demo. Now before we start comparing it against the TC, one last thing I'd like to show you is the difference between the standard mode and custom mode. So we are on standard mode right now. So let's flick it to custom mode. So what I'm hearing is the low end is much more bigger, there's more depth. the modulation, there's a slight difference to the wave shape, essentially giving you a much more lush type of vibrato tone. So for now, I'm just going to keep fiddling with the pedal. We're going to play around with all the settings here, and then we're going to move on to the TC electronic pedal. Now let's put the pedal in custom mode. Now we have an idea of how the Boss pedal sounds. Let's quickly swap to the TC Electronic Tailspin. I now have the TC Electronic Tailspin hooked up. Much more simpler layout, just a rate and a depth. I've set the knobs to the center. Let's hear how that sounds. Now surprisingly for the price, the TC Electronic Tailspin does an excellent job. One thing I'll have to comment with the Boss pedal is you can get a much more subtle tone. You can set it to the point where you don't really notice it, but when you turn it off, you're going to notice that it's off. A much more wider range of controls in terms of getting it very subtle or very extreme. Now, of course, if you're not familiar with the vibrato effect, you can get the Tailspin, experiment with it and see whether you like it or not. And as your ears develop and maybe you have acquired a particular taste for the vibrato effect, you can go for the Boss pedal. Now, one last thing I forgot to mention about the Boss VB-2W is that it has a depth jack here. So what you can do is you can connect an expression pedal and control the depth via the expression pedal. One more thing, if I really have to nitpick with the TC Electronic, is for the most part of the affordable range of these TC Electronic line of pedals is the foot switch does not engage when you press it down. So essentially the pedal is only going to turn on if you let go of the switch, like that. So again, I'm going to show you. I am pressing the button down right now and nothing is happening, and when I let it go, it turns the pedal on. Now this might not be a deal breaker sort of thing, but for some people they might feel or complain about a latency in the pedal, and that is the reason why. It's because the pedal is turning on once you release the foot switch and not when you press it down. So there you go, that was the comparison between the TC Electronic Tailspin and the Boss Vibrato Waza Craft Edition. Let us know what you think about the tones achieved here today. Leave a comment down below, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content, and see you real soon.